Live streaming is on.
Hey guys, I am thinking I am completely live, and I haven't done this a lot lately, so this could be a little bumpy, but we'll get it smoother as we go along, I reckon. Let's see here. What do I want to do? Okay, I want to pull up Google Slides. Let me know if y'all guys can hear me in the chat. Just say yes, we can hear you, or something like that. Okay, here goes the slide machine. Slides. And we want this one. I was going to do this yesterday, but the night before, on Friday night, I had a little accident with my bicycle and crashed. Banged myself up a little bit, but I'm fine. Just a little sore. Got a few swollen bones on my elbow and stuff like that. Okay, let me check the live stream again. Sound good sound. Yes, we can hear you. Excellent. This is working smoother than I thought. I figured I would mess this up somehow. Now, I know y'all guys can see that. And if we need to, I can make it bigger when we are talking about something specific or whatever. And maybe I should do that, but we'll do it here in a second. So what we're going to do, guys, again, this is going to be a little bit of a bumpy video because this is live. This isn't a premiere where y'all guys, where it almost seems like you're live. This is actual live. So I'm here talking to you right now. And this is something I've been wanting to do for a little while, and I decided to go ahead and do it. And that is start doing a study every Saturday, or every Sabbath. And I know some people, put it this way, let's try not to get in an argument over whether today is the Sabbath or yesterday it was the Sabbath. Personally, I think it's yesterday. So that's what I go with. All right. So we've got a study we're going to do, and I'm going to be looking in the comments quite often, and interacting with y'all guys and reading your messages and showing them and so on. Let's see. Do we have any moderators in the house? Let's see if I see any. I don't see any. All right. Let's just pick a couple of you randomly and make you a moderator. And let's see here. Jeff Wilkins, add moderator. Okay, Jeff, you are now a moderator. What I want you to do is, somebody is misbehaving, using curse words and being ugly. Okay, I want you to give them a timeout And if they come back and do it again, I want you to ban them from the channel. But even if they're really ugly, the first chance is give them a timeout, even if they're really ugly, okay? Because we don't want to slam the door too quick. But if there's any trolls here, you will go bye-bye. All right, now let's find name of a beer in the Philippines. It's called the Red Horse. When did that beer come out? Roadhog? Because that's one of the things we want to do is I want y'all guys' help in finding other images like these and these and this one. These are propaganda posters, predictive programming posters. This was from the movie The Forever Purge with the man on the back, certainly in the image of, could be seen as wearing a crown and having a great sword, which in this case he's toting an axe, and he has a automatic weapon and other weapons, I'm sure, right? So this is the way that they show us that the Red Horse is coming. And yes, they are the ones that are doing it. Who else would we have expected to do it? They are Satan's minions, and that's their job apparently in this life. Here is the NROL, White Horse and Red Horse. SpaceX put these out. These are launch patches for 2 satellites that they sent up to be launched. Let's control. Let's add another. I'm going to add another moderator here in a second too. So Jeff has backup. Oh, crap. I can't get that from here. That's okay. All right. So saved on my other computer. What I was going to do was just show you that they put these images actually on the rocket itself. And I have shown this before, so many of you have seen it. But the fact that they have the man on the red horse with the great swords on the bottom down here crossed, which I'll blow this up here in a minute. And he is out to conquer and to conquer, which we may look directly at those things as well, the words. So, but we're going to get started, and I'm just kind of warming y'all guys up, letting you know what we're looking at here. But we're probably going to actually start with some words. So, with that being said, I'm going to come over here. Let me see if I can pop this chat out where I can make it maybe bigger by chance. Yeah, that's working. Okay. So, if y'all guys have some words that are that would be very interesting to be a study or to add into our study today, now's your chance to put them in the chat. Oops, let me move the chat to the bottom. It's Jeremiah. Is this Jeremiah that I know from meeting you at the beach, Jeremiah? I have a feeling it is. Let's make Jeremiah a moderator. I'm pretty sure that's the Jeremiah that I know from the beach. Although it may not be, because I don't recognize your username exactly associated with you, but you're saying it's Jeremiah and you miss me. So I'm thinking you're the one I met you at the beach and he moved to North Carolina. So if that is, that's awesome. Either way, you're a moderator, and until you are a bad boy and have to pull your wrench. No, I'm just teasing. Let's see here. So words, give me some words. Let's see. We got Simon says 1352 is code for the truth will set you free, or truth, goodness, beauty in gematria, maybe. Yeah, it could be. But I'm looking for a words specifically. Is Elvis still alive? I don't know. I haven't looked into that in a while, to be honest with you. Um, if y'all guys, oh, Jeremiah says yes, it is. That's awesome, man. It's great to hear from you. Make sure you look below the video and you'll see a number you can send me a text at, because my number is actually still the same as when me and you were hanging out some. But there's a number down there you can text me. It's not my cell phone number, but it's a Google Voice number, and you can send a text to it. And no, I don't want to. I can't, unfortunately, talk to 1,000 people at the time. I've already got about several thousand on there that I haven't responded to right now, just because I haven't had the time. But it is a good tool that we can use from time to time. So that's awesome, brother. I think I got you as you're blue and you got a wrench, so you're a moderator. And Jeff, okay, is a moderator. All right, let's see. Let's keep going here. You're from Illinois, an hour southwest of Windy City, and that's Lindy. Let's keep going here. It says you have Jeremiah is a very interesting guy. I wish if you get a hold of me, I'd have you on the channel sometime, or we could talk about something, because I know this dude, and he's a very interesting cat. And his name is Jeremiah, and it's very appropriate. Says you have a farm now on top of a mountain. You have a farm on top of a mountain, or you're living at one? That sounds pretty good. Might have to come visit or something other. So get a hold of me. Let's see. It says buy or sell. Ooh, rich, poor, free bond. Rich, poor, free bond. Word Bible search. Rich, poor, free bond. Okay. I like that one. So let's go back over here. Rich, poor, free bond. Let's add that in here. Poor, free, bond. I know why you're asking that, because I had the same question. So that is an excellent choice, because the Revelations says that he will cause all, rich, poor, free, or bond, to receive. Well, let's just pull it up real quick here. I can do that. I do believe this is what's called BlueStacks. It allows you, if you download it, it allows you to turn your PC into a because I'm on a laptop with two screens, and you can turn your PC into an Android device, basically. So it allows you to then pull up apps like the Bible app, KJV Bible app, the one I use. It allows you to be able to pull it up, or pull up any app really that you want to, and you do it by having BlueStacks installed on your PC. And your PC is now an Android device and a PC at the same time. So, which is good. All right, let's see where we're at. We're on 12. Let's go 13 right here. Says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, see it, that statement, the reason why I say I know what you're thinking is because that statement, I don't really like that verse very good, because it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. I don't want the mark, you know. If I've avoided it to this point in my life, I don't want one now. And I just don't like the way that reads, because Lord, give me strength, but I believe I have the willpower that I would not consciously allow this to happen to myself. You know, so that's very good. And one of the first places we would start looking at that is you would want to start looking at the Strong's definitions. Let me see if I like it when I can see chat. Let's see if I can narrow this down, bring it down over here. Oh, and maybe I can, okay. Bring this over, bring this up. I told you this was going to be a little bit hokey. But once we get a format set up that we like and we're used to, I can kind of save it, you might say. Okay. Hey, what do you know? We're making some progress here. All right, that's good enough there. So now one of the things you want to do is, if you want to understand what this statement says, and this is a trip, but this is literally the verse that has been in my mind over the last couple of days, and here it is. You brought it up like that. That's pretty awesome. Oh, let's see here. I like what Sybil says, and Sybil has a wrench too, and she says we will be out of here before that happens. I don't know if you're saying we'll be out of here before the mark, but you said the MOTB. I'm not sure what you meant, and I know you're referring to the rapture, and wouldn't that be glorious and beautiful? But let's look at this. Let's look at this verse a little closer. And like I'm normally used to being prepared, have everything already laid out, but the nature of what we're doing here, a word study, where you're giving me the words basically, is not something I can prepare for. So, but what I would normally do is just start digging into the meaning of the words. So let's do that. Let me make this a little, oh, I guess I can't do that. Okay, that's fine. Let's look at the Strong's definitions. Okay, and it always throws me off where I was. Here we go. Actually, let me click that. Clear out. Oops, what did I do? Oh, click that. Clear out the colors in here. Come on. Okay, now we've got it narrowed down a little bit here so I can highlight what I'm looking for. And it's kind of hard to see. Okay, let me select that. Get rid of that. Select that. Get rid of that. And let's just highlight this one so we can see it easier. Okay, so now we've got that. Now let's go back into the Strong's. And here we have what we're looking at. A lot of times you might have to study into the etymology of the word as well. You have to look in as many ways as you can think of to try to understand the true nature of the statement. So let's look at the definition for great. Okay. And he calls it all both small and great. Well, let's look at small. Small, mikros, mikratros. Apparently a primitive word, small in size, quantity, number, or figuratively dignity, small. So it can be talking about dignity, small meaning it can be size, it can be related maybe to maybe financially as well. But what strikes me here most interesting is the word dignity. So it's saying small as in no dignity. So let's read that again now. Both small in dignity and great. Now, I'm not saying that is what is meant here for sure because we have to continue the study. But let's look at the word great now, right? So let's look at great. Megas or mega. Okay, this is a Greek translation because Revelations was written in Greek by John. And mega or megas, which obviously we relate that to being a word for size. So let's look at it now, what it says here, including the prolonged forms, feminine, plural, etc. Compare also, and it gives you another couple of words to compare, which we will look at. Big, literally or figuratively, in a wide application. Translation, exceedingly great or greatest. High, large, loud, mighty, sore as in afraid, strong, or X to years, meaning, I guess, age, maybe. Okay, so let's see here. So we're talking, let's go ahead and look at where it says also compare these. Also compare, here's the first one here, G3176. Superlative of, and it gives you another word to compare, greatest or very great, exceedingly great. Okay, go ahead and look at the compare word again. This is actually the original word, I think. So let's back out, come back here, and now let's look at that second word that it was comparing to. It says irregular, comparative of, and it gives you another word again, larger, literally or figuratively, especially in age. So it was talking about age. So it could be older, meaning that an older person. Can be meant that way. So if that's the case, small in dignity, or great in age, or small in size, or great in size. And then it uses the word rich. Keep trying to glance over at the what y'all guys are saying, the chat, every now and then, because I don't want to ignore everything you're saying, but I can't study and read this and read that at the same time. It just don't work too good. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Looks like y'all guys are fine, just chatting away there, okay, with each other. So let's continue on. So let's look at rich. Rich. Okay. Transliteration. Don't know how to pronounce that. Plusius is the way it's saying. Plusius. Plusius for rich. Plusius in Greek. Okay, it says wealthy, figuratively abounding with. Wealthy, figuratively. And of course, if you take the word rich as we use it in today's language, we would assume that they have a lot of money or that they have a lot of material possessions. But what I've noticed is that the way we use words today is a lot of times not at all what words were used for and what it meant many years ago, especially when you're coming across a translation like from Greek, okay, or Hebrew, or any language. Okay, so we've got wealthy, figuratively abounding with, and rich to me also can mean, because I don't look at rich the way I used to. I look at rich as it could mean that it is like I consider myself richer right now than I ever have been in my life. It's because of the knowledge that I've gained over the last 12 years of in-depth study in trying to find my way in the dark out of the matrix, you might say, or just try and understand what in the world is going on, what happened, because back in about 2005, 2003, 2005, somewhere in there, something happened that changed my life ultimately and almost destroyed me. And that is when I figured out that my son, when he got his 2-year-old sticky poos, when I found out that that was intentional, that he ended up getting autism, my whole life my brain just burst, and my whole world, where I thought that the world was a different way, and come to find out that our world is not that way, and it almost destroyed me. And at that time, I was rich in material goods, but now I'm rich in knowledge. And knowledge is something that it's pretty much about the only thing that can't be taken away from you unless somebody takes you out, and even still, I don't believe that knowledge is truly still lost. The way genetics work and the way it looks like God designed this world is that we take that knowledge with us. And future generations of us benefit from that. Okay, so rich, we took a look at that. Now let's go poor. Let's look at poor. That'll be okay, guys. Let's see. Yeah, no tests either. Not those. It has a clear crystalline, um, self-replicating crystal that is tiny, tiny, tiny ones that are on the end of the cotton swab. And when you allow them to rub that in your sinuses, that those crystals come off in your sinuses, and they will grow into the pattern of an antenna. And we know how, if you know what crystals really are, they literally like antennas. And that's what I've seen to be the case with what they're rubbing on the inside of your nose. And that's That's if it's good, because you can only imagine what could be put on the end of those things. So yeah, no cotton swabs either, people. Yeah. Okay, so we looked at rich. Let's look at poor. Poor. Let me get a drink of water, guys. Okay. Hi, Stace Stevenson. Hope you're doing well. Hello back to you. Yes, Sybil, God can do anything, but it don't means defy what you already know, right? We don't want to defy and say, well, I'm going to do this because I need to do this and God will forgive me. I don't know if I would do that or not. It's up to you. Everybody has to live with their choices, right? And I'm not pointing at you, Sybil. I know you're probably not saying that uh, against what I was saying or something. Okay, so akin to, and it gives us a word to compare, which we'll go look at, and the alternate of another word, a beggar, as cringing, 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 pauper, strictly denoting absolute or public medicacy, although also used in a qualified or relative sense. Whereas, and it gives us another word to look at, properly means only straightened circumstances in private. Literally, and then it says often as a noun or figuratively distressed. Okay. See how complicated the word poor is? Okay. And let's see how it's pronounced. Patokos. I'm probably not very close, but there we go. All right, so let's click on in here and look at these words. It says akin to. So what is poor akin to? Probably akin to the alternate, and gives us another word. Though the idea of causing to fall through the idea of causing to fall, poor to fall, or, and then gives you another word, through that of causing to fly away, to scare, to frighten. So poor is being related to fall, to fail, basically, to fly away, to run in fear, is associated to the actual meaning of poor. So let's go back in. That was the first one we did, was G4422. Now it says, and the alternate of, probably akin to, and gives us another word to look at, through the idea of alighting, to fall, literally or figuratively, fail, fall, down, light on. Like, I think it's kind of like saying to light, like light on the ground, to be low, to fail, fall, down, light on. Okay. Almost sounds like it's referring to, and we may run into that, but it almost sounds like it's referring to like dignity or your level of righteousness, kind of. Maybe. We'll see. So see, poor is more complicated than we might have known, and I suspected. So Middle voice, this is a word to see also, and it says middle voice of a primary verb, to fly. So here we are associated with fleeing or flying or going away in fear. Huh. Okay, let's go back in again. And let's look at the third one down here. From a primary, to toil for daily subsistence. Can't even talk now. Starving, indigent. Translation, poor compared to. So this is talking about toiling for daily subsistence. And this is a word that is a root, like a root word of where poor comes from. Another example. Let's click on this real quick. Okay, this says another root word is like says from, to crouch, like to go down low, like the other one was talking about, kind of like akin to, and the alternate of another word to look at, a beggar, as cream, whatever that is. Never even heard that word before. Pauper, strictly denoting absolute or public. But this, and yeah, you already figured it out. I don't have the hugest vocabulary in the world. I remember going through school, and I don't know why, but I don't think English was supposed to be my first language, to be quite honest with you. And I'm sure if I've ever been through this ride before, it wasn't. It says, I might have to look up even what this word means. This word right here. Public medic, I don't know. Although also used in a qualified or relative sense. Another word, to compare properly, means only straighten circumstances in private. Literally, often as a noun, or figuratively, distressed, beggar, poor. Okay. Now we'll go back and read the original again, because I'm still trying to get my mind around this. Because if you want to understand what the verse truly means, this is the kind of thing you have to go through. You know, it's literally going back to school again, going back to the beginning and trying to figure out what are we really looking at, because all of our minds are all soaked in lies. And we literally have got to squeeze those lies out and replace them with the truth. And the only way you can do that is through in-depth study. I do this kind of thing by myself normally a lot, and just sit for hours and hours and days just studying the meaning of certain things. And that's how I'm able to understand things. That's how I was able to tell you that the white horse is here and that the red horse is riding right now, which we're going to talk about more here in just a minute. Although this was such a great example to look at, I had to go ahead and do this one. Let me take a glance over at the comments. Yep, Eliza, real life matrix. Great falling away, to fall. Ooh, Eliza. Great falling away. It was saying for poor, it was talking about to fall or to go low or to go away in fear. Huh. Let's look at that again. Through that of causing to fly away, to scare. Huh. So poor is starting. Now we understand poor is you don't got no money. What we're trying to understand, though, is what biblically what is meant by poor in this case, in this phrase, in this verse. And to me, it's starting to come out with the help of Elisa there. It's starting to look like someone who is falling away, being scared away. And of course, what are they doing now? They're scaring people a lot, right? People may not say it, but you could see it in people's eyes, especially a year ago when everybody, almost, not me, almost everybody had a mask on. And you could see it in their eyes. They were standing in line at places with that huge 6-foot separation, the 666 on the floor in front of you, telling you this is the beast. This is letting you know who's doing it when you got 666 on the floor. When you would walk in a place and you could see it in people's eyes, they were being caused to fly, being frightened, to scare. Hopefully y'all guys can see that okay. Wow. Okay, that is interesting. That is awesome. Let's see how Luke used it. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Wow. It's exactly what we were just talking about. That is so awesome. Lisa, thank you. But they were terrified. This is Luke 24:37. But they were terrified and affrighted, and supposed that they had seen a spirit. Wow. I really like that one there. Talking about the propaganda and everything, trying to cause fear so that they will do what the beast says that they should do in order to be safe, and ultimately lose their soul because of it. So does poor have a little bit different meaning for you now? Let's go back. And he causeth all, both small in dignity and great in size or wealth or I'm still here. I'm just reviewing real quick. Mighty, great. It's more literal, it seems, in that word for great. And rich, we talked about that. And poor. And we just talked about that. And poor now has a potential, and nothing can be decided in one sit down and one reading and one thought. So nothing I'm going to say here is going to be a proclamation that this means this exactly. That's why this is called a study, because we need to study because we don't know. Because I don't know. Okay, so again, poor having the meaning of to be frightened away, to fall away. In most of the examples, it was talking about that. And then it comes with the word free. Let's look at free. Free. Translation from Greek, pronunciation, Elioderos. Elioderos. You're theirs. Something like that. Says probably from the alternate of, and gives us a word to look at. Unrestrained, to go at pleasure as a citizen, not a slave, whether freeborn or manumitted or genitive case, exempt from obligation or liability, free, man, woman, at liberty. Excuse me, let me get a sip of water here. Read comments while I'm drinking. Thank you, Tonta37. I appreciate that. I'm just doing the best I can. Thank you, Handy Jones. Yeah, I agree. That's why I decided to start doing this with y'all guys, because I don't make as many videos as I used to, but it's not because I ain't doing what I'm doing is a whole lot more studying, and making sure when I do come and say something that it's a lot closer to being what's real and what's truth, Well, Alan Off Grid said, what's going to happen to people who got the stab juice? Well, I can't proclaim anything's going to happen, but from what we've seen so far and what I've seen in scripture and what I believe it was, there's going to be a portion of them, I unfortunately believe this, and that they're going to soak them in rage. It's called the red horse, and that's why the red horse comes after the white horse, because the white horse was the application of the stab juice, or whatever you want to call it. That was the main thing with the white horse. And the white horse is still riding around looking for victims. And I'm sure he will get a few more. But the red horse, conquering to conquer, get them to kill each other. This is Revelation 6 that we're talking about now. Not going to be good. I see where Lindy Kaz is saying something about warp speed, to fly away. I could see that being related. It means to alter from normal or healthy state, to twist or pervert. Yep. Yeah. Wow. My mind's just spinning with things. Okay, so we were looking at free, right? Not a slave, no obligation or liability. Now, all of us have to look at ourselves and ultimately decide, is there anything we are liable to or obligated to, or do we have any yokes on our necks or any hooks in our bodies? And even I still have things that I have to do better in my life. It is just the way it is. When you wake up all of a sudden, somewhat in a world, you're wallowing around in sin, and something happens and it shakes you out of your drunk stupor, and you look around and realize that you're in prison. It's kind of like very similar and emotionally feeling like in the movie The Matrix when Neo woke up and he was in that sack, and of course that scene was DNA. It was showing DNA at a molecular level. That's what the whole movie Matrix series was about. When they showed themselves in Zion and they were fighting all the spaghetti leg creatures and machines and stuff, all machines actually, all man-made machines. They were fighting them. They were at the molecular level inside of your body fighting the white horse, the things that are being injected into the bodies that now the body is in battle with. Literally, the Matrix movie itself is playing out in reality right now inside people's bodies at the molecular level. And I believe that is a very accurate answer to that. So let's get back to the main thing here. Let's go back over. We got free and bond. Now we think we probably have a clue what bond means, right? Let's look. Bond. Dolos. Bond. Dolos. Greek translation. Dolos. From gives us a word to look at. A slave. Literal or figurative. Okay. Involuntary or voluntary. Frequently, therefore, in a qualified sense of subjection or subservience. Okay. All right. Do you remember when I told you and I showed you what the meaning of 603 score and 6, and it was a obsolete number, which was the 600 that was the letter X. It was a letter X, like two swords crossed. Okay. And the actual definition was a stick, a prick, a scar of servitude, right? So let's read this again. It says, therefore, in a qualified sense of subjection or subservience, and we're talking about the word bond. Bond. Then it says, translation, bondman, servant. Okay, so basically, this is a literal or figurative, involuntary or voluntary slave. Just like many of us are involuntary slaves to paying taxes, right? We are involuntarily do other things that we don't want to do, like go to the DMV, or there's lots of things. They've built many walls and many bars and many yokes and placed many hooks in our world to catch us. And we have to try to grow wise so that we can actually see the hooks and see the yokes and determine for real if we are truly free or if we are bond. And I would say the majority of us here today are still bond. I know you don't like to hear that. I don't like it either. Trust me. I'm saying it to myself because I'm sitting here in a room with air conditioning. and the air conditioning is being provided by the beast system. You know, you could say, well, that doesn't make me bond. Well, it does, because you're handing over your sweat, your money, your effort. You're trading with the beast. You're wandering after the beast for comfort. That's what I'm doing, because I'm sitting here in the air conditioner. Now, I understand this is how we were all raised, but it does not mean that it is not a hook or a yoke. Because what are they doing right now? They're raising the prices. They're taking things away from us, aren't they? Many of you heard me say several years ago, the beast wants its toys back. Some of you remember that. And you're going to have to give them up. And that's still ongoing, and it's going to get worse. And so you're going to find out real fast what the hooks are and what the bonds are and what the yokes are, because they're going to continue to want these things back. And in order for you to continue to get them, you're going to have to give up things you don't want to. But if we understand more clearly words, meanings, symbolism, all these things that we study, we can then understand and see if that is a true hook or a true yoke or not, and whether we should give it up or not. And unfortunately, there's a lot of things we're all using that belong to the beast, and they're going to ask for it back in order for you to keep getting it. Unfortunately. Hey, thank you, First Last. Father's Day, yep. I'm just looking here. Looking at some of the comments real quick. I don't pay taxes. I can't do it. I grow herbs. I hate the system of control. The Watcher says this. Yeah. Yeah, I don't pay taxes either, but some taxes are unavoidable. Like when you go to the store and you buy something, there's tax on it. Or you pay your light bill, there's taxes on it. So I get the whole income tax thing. Yeah, I don't pay taxes either. I don't make an earned income, so I have no earned income tax to pay. Thanks to y'all guys, because y'all guys are truly the reason I'm able to escape that one thing. And my work, do my best to earn it. Okay, let's see here. So we are down now to receive a mark, and which is past the words that we wanted to study. Let's look at the word mark. Let's go ahead and look at that. It says from the same as, and it gives us a word to look at, which we'll look at it here in a second. It's pronounced Kahar Agma mark. Kahar Agma. It's probably not exactly, I'm sure, but Kahar Agma is mark in Greek. Gives us a word to look at, 5482, and it says a scratch or etching, i.e. a stamp, as a badge of servitude, or sculpture, or a sculptured figure like a statue, a graven mark. So a scratch or etching, a stamp, as a badge of servitude. Yeah, right? So like on a lot of the movies, these zombie movies, right? They would when they were giving people the jab juice, they would do it as an X, like on what was the name of the one they did it specifically? I can't think of it right at the moment. It'll come to me. But anyways, some of you know what I'm talking about. But when they would give the jab juice, they would do it with a scratch, an etching on the arm in the shape of an X. Like I said, the letter X is the most basic form of the mark of the beast. And then it goes much more in other images as well, like many other things. We'll get into that in another video. I've talked about it a number of times. Okay, so we looked at mark, scratch, etching, stamp, an actual physical something, visible. And yes, a needle does leave a